machine learning. Now, some of you may be a little bit worried about machine learning, so just to calm everyone down and put everyone's mind at ease, I'm just going to ask a quick question here on Quora. Okay, we'll check back on this question a little bit later. Here's hoping we get a good, nice quality answer. Anyways, we're going to start with k-nearest neighbors. It's a very simple type of machine learning. But before we can do that, we got to load our data in. Now, if you're doing your own machine learning, you're probably going to want to load in your own data, but the packages we're using to do machine learning already comes with some toy data that we can play around with just so we can get a feel for how the algorithms work. I'm just going to copy from the website here how to load the data in, copy over the targets. So I'm going to switch over to my script that I've already got loaded up. And there we go. This just loaded the data in. This is some iris data. It's about these flowers. And there are 3 different types of flowers here. And based on the different features that we have from the flowers, like the petal width and length, we want to see if we can predict what kind of flower we have based on those features. And we're going to do this with a k-nearest neighbors classifier. Now let's switch back on to the website and see how we load up our classifier. So I guess it's just from SK. I'm just going to copy all this stuff right here and cut out the stuff we don't want. I'm just going to paste this. There we go. So we don't want these extra indents there. We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't need this. And yeah, there. This should run. Let's just run it. It might take a second, loading those packages in. But what's happening here is we're importing the classifier. We're creating a classifier object, kind of like a NumPy object. Remember those arrays, they're objects? We're creating a k-neighbors classifier object. And then we're going to tell that object to fit to this data and the labels. So we can fit the data to those labels. And hopefully our classifier will be able to tell us what type of flower we have based on the features. There's a pretty handy function in here too called score, KNN.score, and we're just going to feed it the data and the labels. And it'll tell us how accurate it is, right? So it'll tell us how good it was at predicting the data. So let's run our script again. And we got 96.66% accurate. That's pretty good, but we've got a big problem here. We've actually cheated here. We've basically fit our classifier with all this data, and then we're kind of just asking it to regurgitate what it already saw. We don't want that. We want to be able to fit our classifier and then give our classifier unseen data and then tell us what type of flower it is based on the data it's seen. But we want this data to be never seen before. So we're actually going to use something called the train test split. It's a function that's going to basically take the whole set of data we have and split it into a training set and a testing set. So we'll train our classifier on the training set, and then we'll take the testing data, which the classifier has never seen, give it to the classifier, and see how good our classifier is at predicting the unseen data. That's a real measure for how good our classifier is. So I'm just going to go all the way down here, copy this, because that's the import statement we'll need. And I'll just put it down. I'll put it here, actually. And then I got to go back to the website. I can't remember what it said. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, this is what we need here. Copy. Let's go back to our script. And let's paste it right here. So we've got all this extra stuff here. I don't want that. And what is this all saying? So this is going to be data train, data test. I'm just renaming this stuff here because it's got X, Y labels. They're pretty typical in the machine learning world, but it's a little unclear for us right now. Labels, capital L, just to be consistent. So this function here is going to return 4 lists, basically. The data, the training data, the testing data, and then the training labels and the testing labels. And let's go check out, make sure we've changed everything we need to. I don't really know what random state is. I'm just going to get rid of it. Test size 33%. I guess that's just going to tell us like what proportion of the whole data is our testing set going to be. And this needs to be data and this needs to be labels. There. So we're going to take that, shuffle it up, and generate this training and testing data. And we don't want to train it on the whole data anymore. We want to train it on the training data, and labels train there. And then we want to do it on data test and labels test down here. So this now will hopefully give us a good view of how good our classifier is. So let's hit run. 98%. Awesome. So it's doing pretty good, actually. This classifier was able to correctly identify or correctly classify 98% of the data it saw that it had never actually seen before until it was being told to predict it. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, let's go check back on our Quora question, see if we have any cool answers. I guess we don't have any answers yet, but I'll put a link to this question in the description of the video so we can check later, and hopefully we have some really good quality answers.